So I'm talking to Alessandra Arias, who's got a track on the New Age Noise compilation Constellations. Where are you located?
I'm from Western Sydney and I have lived here my whole life, my whole 23 years.
Can you describe your music to us?
I would describe my music as like sad guitar music with maybe like a hint of hope or trying to. It's very self-aware in a way. So I think, or I am very self-aware. So I try not to be, it's important to have a little bit of balance between the sad and the happy.
Have you released any music previously to this?
I have released music, but I have never released music on my own. So I used to play in a band called Chicanery, and we released 2 singles and music videos to go alongside those those songs. And yeah, it was very fun. And we played like quite, I guess, alternative rock music is what we usually described it as. So it'll be interesting it already feels weird, like not seeing the band name next to the song and doing it kind of like all myself. So we'll see. New territory.
What first got you into music?
I grew up in like quite a musical household. So my mum was always playing music. When I was a kid, she used to like play the Eagles when I was like an actual baby, so I would fall asleep. And I was just always exposed to music, and I just really wanted to play guitar when I was about 11, maybe 10 or 11, maybe even 12. I can't even remember now. That's so bad. My mum took me to a guitar shop and I got a nylon string guitar, and then I took lessons, I think from when I was about 13 or 14. So there was just always like a desire to play music. My sister played piano while I was learning guitar. So it was very much encouraged, and I just really loved music and I just wanted to make it in a way. And I even remember before I had guitar lessons and I just had my guitar, I would just like play the string, and like I think I remember writing a tab that wasn't even a real tab and just putting, I think, A as the first string and then B as the second string, and just being like A, B, B, and then writing that down. So I tried before I had the knowledge, and then I was given a little bit of knowledge to write some music.
We'll fast forward to now. And so who are your major influences musically?
At the moment, I feel like I'm influenced by a lot of different music. I am always making new playlists on Spotify because I get bored of the old ones. But a few constants that I still listen to, when I was like, ever since I was like 11 years old, I've loved Paramore. Anyone who knows me would already know that this is my answer. But I just really, I guess at the time when I was really into like rock, emo music, like there weren't that many women, and seeing like Hayley Williams, who was like still a teenager when I started listening to them, like be at the front of this band and like still, I don't know, I guess like there was something about that as an 11-year-old that I really liked. And, you know, I wanted to have orange hair and I wanted to have like the yellow jeans that she had. And a reason why they've still like stuck with me is because they've managed to evolve throughout every album cycle and their music has changed. They haven't, I guess, kept to that same style that they originally started off with. So it's been really like, I guess, inspiring to see. And it's nice that I'm still able to enjoy their music. And if anything, I enjoy their like latest album more than any of the others.
What are some of the issues you face trying to get your music out there?
I think as an independent artist, and starting off and not necessarily having knowledge of the music industry, it can be really overwhelming to know what is required of you. Like there's so much more to releasing and like making and releasing music than just like uploading it on Bandcamp or SoundCloud or Spotify and being like, okay, the song is there, that's all I need to do. Like there's so much more that goes along with that. Reaching out, like writing press releases and reaching out to blogs or trying to find even someone to record with, like when you have no idea, actually knowing what is required of you. Because there's also, I feel like there's so many things you can do you know, you can get a manager, you can hire a PR person, you can try and pitch yourself to interviews, but there's not necessarily like a right way to do anything. And so many artists release music in so many different ways, and they all have different strategies. Some have no strategies. So that can be really overwhelming when you don't have like a manager or a label being like, this is what you should do.
Mm-hmm. How has New Age Noise helped alleviate some of those issues?
Yeah, New Age Noise has been a major blessing. It has allowed me to like find a community of other musicians or people just interested in music. And, you know, I've made some really good friends from New Age Noise, and being able to speak to mentors, people who already have experience in the music industry, has been really valuable. And I feel like New Age Noise is also it's a no judgment zone. Like, I never feel like, is this question I'm asking too silly, or is someone going to laugh at me for asking this? When in the future, like 17, 18-year-old me in a band talking to other people would have been like, maybe I won't ask this question, because like maybe someone will think, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. So, which is really horrible. So I think, yeah, it's really nice that New Age Noise has created that community, and I feel like I'm really lucky to be a part of it. And I guess that community, I don't feel the need to try and like fit in with a different music community in like a different area. And especially when Sydney is so like tied by where you come from, or like, yes, there isn't, but every kind of area of Sydney has its own little community. So I'm really thankful that New Age Noise exists in Western Sydney, and we have that space. And yeah, it's great. It's the best.
Can you tell us about some artists that you could recommend, and we can tag them in this interview?
Of course. I'd say the first two are New Age Noise members or friends of mine. Georgia Marley, she released her album Yearning last week, I believe. And it's such a nice album. It's so warm and like very vulnerable. And there's a song on there called About You, which is my favorite. The bridge is just another level. And no, I really, really love it. And it's been so cool to see her like move through New Age Noise, and now she's like released an album that she wrote and produced. It's really cool. Also True, she released her a single called Lose You recently, which is also a really great song. I love Sarah. She's the best. And in terms of maybe like an international artist or something, there's an artist I discovered recently called Flunky, and she released her debut album. Found her through YouTube, but she also like put stuff up on Bandcamp. And I feel like she makes music I want to make, or I could see myself making. It's very like lo-fi and honest, and it's just with her guitar, and I just really love that. It just feels very like vulnerable. And yeah, I would say that that's an artist that I've been really enjoying. It's nice to hear, well, even all of the three people that I've mentioned, like that sense of relatability is really nice to hear in music.
Well, we've talked about the New Age Noise compilation, and it's called Constellations.
Yeah.
And a lot of you have talked to me about how you relate to constellations through star signs. I'm interested to know what your favorite constellation is, and if you can tell me a story about it.
I think my favorite constellation is, well, I really enjoy astrology, and the first constellation that came to mind was the Scorpius constellation, because I'm a Scorpio. It feels so like
but you told me, like,
yeah,
if it's your rising and your sun sign, it is hard to avoid.
It is, and I really love astrology, and I wouldn't say I know, like, I have an endless knowledge of it, but I do enjoy occasionally educating myself about it, and also like diving into the whole, I guess, like culture that stems from astrology, just like the fun stuff, like all the meme pages and like CoStar even. But we were talking about this before, I have a little ring with the Scorpio
Beautiful
constellation on it. And yeah, I guess it's just the first one that came to mind, the one that I can identify. And I feel like Scorpios get a bad rap. Bad rep. But it's fun. I do enjoy astrology, and I feel like New Age Noise, the people that I've like met through New Age Noise, we always talk about astrology. So it's, yeah, I love it. I love that it's called Constellation as well, the compilation. It's very, a nice little summary. It's very accurate.